I get it.
G'day and welcome to Shane Shoots the Shit. I got rid of Shaun.
Oh, hang on. Wait. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. It's not fair. No?
No. What's wrong?
Oh, I'm just making sure your beanie's...
It's
all
erect? Does it need to be like a certain height or something?
Yeah, they're like the old Stussy beanie. Remember the old Stussy beanies?
No.
Oh, no, okay. There's someone out there that'll know. There's someone out there that'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah? It's not an in-joke.
No. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, cool. Welcome everybody to another episode of
Shane and
Shaun
Shoot
the
Poop
Shite.
Caca.
Caca.
You got nothing.
I got nothing. You had me at caca.
So
Brum, brum.
all joking aside, this is very, I don't know what you'd say.
The serious side of what?
Well, yeah, serious subject. We don't normally get serious, but we'll give it a try and see if it works. So I know a lot of people who race BMX who race with anxiety, and it's can be a real struggle with them for them some days. And you happen to be one of these people who
Yes.
it really gets to you sometimes.
Yeah.
And it can show.
Yes.
It's not something I've ever had a problem with. I can turn up to a race meeting and it wouldn't matter if it was a nationals or a club race. I'd sort of feel as level-headed. And I think it comes down to a whole bunch of things that sort of got me to this point. But what is it like to race with anxiety, I guess is the question.
The thing is, it's hard to put a. For me, sometimes it even starts a couple days before. Especially if you haven't raced at a certain track before, or you haven't been there in a while, you start to think about, and one of the things I stopped doing also was I stopped reading the entry list, because I used to read, oh yeah, we've got 20 people, for example, and I'd see certain people's names, and then automatically I would get anxiety about that and start to shut down, and then self-doubt, etc., etc. And that I found that, so it would start there, and then it would just progressively worse, and then I'd ride in practice, and then I'd see certain people riding, and I would just start to fall apart, and the anxiety would just go through the roof. Yes, and or other times it doesn't happen until practice. Everything's good, drive there, sometimes, Ken's comes, we all set up the tents and we're having a good time, and then I'll go and do a few laps of practice, and you might make one mistake and that ruins it for you, and it's really frustrating. And definitely I'm not alone on this, because I do talk to other people, and I guess there's a confusion between having nerves, because nerves is most people are nervous, but anxiety is another level, and you feel it in your heart, your breathing changes, you feel weak, you actually feel physically weak. You get on I've been on the gate, this is probably in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been on the gate, and I've collapsed. Like, I've been on the gate in a final. I remember it was at the National Series round when Connor came to Australia at Frankston, and I was on the gate in the final, cruiser final, and actually, we set, and like my arms just, because I was so nervous and had so much anxiety, that actually my arms just gave away.
So if you got all the way through a race meeting, you got to the final, what would have been the trigger in the final? Just performance based?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and it probably, anxiety does come back to self, and you just gotta. So what I do a lot now is I tell myself, this is all fun. You know how to ride a bike. This is fun. You enjoy. This is what you live for, which is true. I love this sport and what it's done for me and stuff like that. So to doubt that is kind of it's a conflict. So I'm actually in constant conflict with myself at the track. So, and Simon Anderson, our good friend Simon Anson, he put me on to an app called Smiling Minds, and it's like a meditation app, and it teaches you to use breathing to control your anxiety. And he said when he was coaching the bottom, like the national team, like some of the up and coming, they were to use that app because it also has a sport. Like you go in there, there's different things that you can learn to meditate about, relationships, work, sport. It has a sports part of it, and also just gentle relaxation, learning how to sleep, because anxiety can make it really hard to sleep, especially before a race meeting. So yeah, it doesn't take very long. There's like some 6-minute ones and stuff like, and it's definitely really helped. You just sort of bring yourself back and actually just concentrate on your breathing, and it actually does get rid of that anxiety out of your head. So I'm working through that, and I found like when I raced at Shep, I was fine. I actually didn't. I had a lot of fun. Like none of us, I don't think, were riding at our best ability because of just, I guess, of COVID and not enough racing and et cetera, et cetera. But it was a really fun weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel any. I probably felt a little bit, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle. So I think sometimes if you seek help, there is different things, literature, stuff like that, out there to support that, and with a lot more people suffering from it, I think the attention has come to the forefront, and you can get help. But yeah, I definitely know a few people that suffer from it, and you keep it quiet because you think that you're being a bit, you're just being a bit of a la-la, and you need to suck it up, It's just nerves, mate. It's just nerves. And as you said earlier, like you've seen how much it affects me. You've seen it physically and stuff like that, where it's even made me angry. And that was hard because I'd never let it get to me that much. And that was kind of the point where I actually thought I better do something about it. So yeah, and thanks for my teammates, all the support they gave me when that happened. So yeah, I was grateful for people persevering with me, and yeah.
So, have you always raced with anxiety, or is it something that sort of came on at some point in your racing career?
I think I've had a lot of it in my life in different phases. Like it affects me even at work. I mean, I know this is about BMX, but there was stages in my life where I couldn't walk through the front gate at work. And so what I was doing is there's a natural remedy called Rescue Remedy. It's a little spray, and I've used it a few times at BMX. A couple of little sprays, and it helps you relax. So, and they make like a little lozenge and stuff like that. So I've used that. But yes, probably maybe in the last, I say 5 years, it's been really bad. And I mean, you saw me about 3 years ago when I got really bad, and I don't know, can you compare to now, how I am now? Like, yeah, sometimes I stress, and I think I guess it's just me wanting to be better, and but I know how to ride a bike, and I know how to race. I just got to, and like I put up a post actually on social media during the week about, sort of a bit disappointed with my performance and my motivation and stuff like that, and heaps of people reached out. A lot of people are suffering from the same thing, and I think it's a bit of, we've got a bit of COVID jet lag and stuff like that, so we're all feeling different things in different ways, and anxiety about wanting us to go back to how we were, in life and in our racing, and that brings on anxiety. And a lot of people just sort of said, look, just take it back to basics and just ride for fun and have fun. And that's another reason why I, hooked up with you and Glenn and all that, to have a fun ride yesterday and come here and ride your backyard today and do this and talk about this sort of stuff. just do the fun stuff. You know, it don't have to be about sprints and how many gates and, you know, half lap sprints and stuff like that. Yeah, look, I want to be a better racer, but you know, at the end of the day, I just want to have fun.
Yeah. So the calendar right now is pretty light on. Do you think that sort of helps, gives you more of an opportunity to have some fun, gives you more of an opportunity to improve your riding, and takes the stress off you a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of like, especially Dean Patch, he wrote a really good comment, and that's what he sort of said, just shelve the training and just ride your bike, because he said the more you ride your bike, the more comfortable you'll be. So, you know, coming up here or catching up with you guys at Park Orchards or Eastfield or wherever, and just having some fun, I think that's where it's got to be, you know, for me. And then the more you ride, my anxiety level will drop because I'm more comfortable. I mean, this is not about me, but I just think maybe other people, that would help them too.
So people would struggle in their own ways. It's not like you have anxiety, it all fits in a box. And people would be affected by it in different ways. People have different triggers, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If somebody was really struggling with anxiety, and I mean you've been through it at different levels, then what would be, say, the two most important things to do to try and overcome it and to start enjoying your racing?
I guess for me, like I just said, maybe find a relaxation app and actually train yourself to use the breathing, because it absolutely works. And it changes the way your brain reacts to certain things. And I found I've only been using it probably for a few months now, and I can definitely feel, and it's all scientifically proven and stuff like that. It's not mumbo jumbo, you know, hocus pocus, you know. And I think, you know, look into something like that, and, you know, maybe, and I'm looking at that sort of thing before racing, like say like the night before, and just do that. But I guess if you're at a race meeting, I always find if you go for a ride and a little bit of positive affirmation, you know, and like I was saying before, you just say, you know, I got this, I can ride a bike, and I'm here with my friends, and if you've got kids, I'm here watching my kids have a blast, I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm not at work, I'm not under the pressure at work or whatever, I'm here having the best time of my life. You know, I'm doing things that a lot of people can't do. Like, people look at us and they go, like for me instance, you and I are the same age, and they go, man, you're 50 and you're still riding a BMX and having fun? Like, hell yeah. So you just think about that, you just sort of pull it back. But I think, you know, the positive affirmation and just saying, hey, look, I can do this. And, you know, I've done 1 million gate starts, and I can ride this track. No matter what you come, I think it shouldn't be about the results, and I think we get caught up in that, and I'm guilty of that, because I just think, you know, I haven't raced all my life, and I guess it's nice to get a reward, but at the end of the day, the reward is hanging with your friends, seeing your kids progress, you know, progressing yourself. It's not about the trophy you get or the piece of plastic, because they just sit and collect dust, but it's experiences. But yeah, or another bit of advice is talk to someone. If you're struggling at a race meeting, I mean, I'm happy to talk to people. If people want to come up and talk to me and say, hey, bro, I'm not feeling it, I'm happy to help out, because I've been there, I am there. So if people ever want to come up and have a chat, I'm all for it, you know. You know where to find me. Hanging out.
Hard to miss.
Bit hard to miss, you know. I'm not exactly the quietest person at the track, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we're a big BMX family, and I love my BMX family. So if I can help someone, so be it. You know, we're all the same. It just can be so paralyzing, you know, and that's the scary thing, because we're doing something we love, and it like locks you down.
So I know you've actually not shown up to some races because it was so crippling.
Uh-huh.
Knowing what you know now, do you think you'd ever be in that position again?
If we're going to be brutally honest, it happened to me with Warrnambool.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And what it was initially too was the uncertainty of the weather, and It was like, do I go? Do I not go? Do I not go? And then I looked at the weather report, and basically I'd sold myself out. Like I'd already talked myself out of it. So I was looking for that confirmation. Oh, just don't go, man. The weather, you're going to drive 3.5 hours. The weather's going to be absolute shite, and you're going to be pissed off. And then, so what happened the next day? Blue skies, no wind.
Immaculate.
The track was immaculate.
So how did you overcome the sort of feeling of, oh shit, I could
regret?
Yeah.
So I took it as a lesson. You know what, Shaun? Look what you missed out on, because you talked yourself out of it because your anxiety was crazy. Now, the funny thing is that I love Warrnambool, the track, and Ken's was going to come with me. I'm talking about my daughter again, but she was going to come. We were going to go look at the beach quickly, get some fish and chips, race BMX, catch up with all you guys and the BMX family again. It's going to be a good weekend. But no.
And it's not like it was a big field in your class, so it was going to be a big final or anything. I think there was 4 of us there, maybe 5.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it just takes the smallest thing. It's like, it's the snowball effect. And I talked myself out of it. And then I see all the photos and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let that happen again. And I have to make the conscious decision to not let that happen. And every time, and this is another thing, because I actually did get some counselling about this. I went and seen a professional, and she was telling me every time you challenge that thinking, and it's a little win, and then it becomes easier. So next time there's a race meeting and my brain's all getting wigged out and stuff, you go, no, hang on a minute. Remember how you felt last time with seeing all the boys, having a good time, walking around with the panda and handing out stickers and everybody looking happy. You missed out just because I should have gone. There was no reason why. It wasn't like I was injured or sick or whatever. I mean, yeah, there is times when you can't go because you're not feeling well or you've got an injury or something or whatever, lack of money, sadly. But just to let the anxiety control, I'm not going. It was a big lesson, and I missed out. So like I said, I've learnt from that. So when I get to that point again, I'll challenge it and take it face on. Like the only thing is for me is I just don't like racing in the mud.
Oh no, I can understand that.
Yeah, and I call me a Suki Lala. I get it. I guess I invest a lot of money in my bikes.
You don't have to. If you don't race in the mud, it's not because you're a Suki Lala. There's so much involved in trying to clean your bike out again, so much cost in replacing bearings and chains and consumables. When you've been racing since the 80s, none of that matters. Results at one single race meeting, it doesn't matter where it is, it just doesn't matter. So you've got another race coming up.
And on this other side of the coin with that also is that, okay, you might not choose to race in the mud, but what you can do is, if you don't race, I can still hang out with my mates and my teammates and catch up with everybody. Watch some good racing, etc., and you still go home with a smile on your face. I mean, it's better than just sitting at home going, well, I'm a bit bored or whatever, or sit and watch TV and go, well, I should have been out doing something, because that's important too, Spending time around people actually helps you, feeding off everybody else's positive energy. And, BMX is full of a lot of positive people, because we're all having a good time. We're doing what we love. It's a passion. It's not just a sport. It's a lifestyle. It's a passion, because we race on the track, but we live it off the track.
Yeah.
It control.
Exactly. The ratio of time you spend off the track versus on the track, and even in staging, it's quite high. And the whole social side of things makes it worthwhile going back each time. I mean, you can race different people and meet different people, and there's still the same sort of camaraderie and compassion amongst people. Like if you were to fall, it's surprising the number of people who are actually interested in making sure you're okay,
and everybody claps and stuff like that. And it's because people genuinely care, and like this conversation about anxiety, we all care about each other. So if you are struggling, reach out. And like I said, Simon gave me that advice because he cares, and he, and that set me on a different path. So I went, okay, I'm going to try that. So don't hesitate to reach out to us or to your friends. And I did get professional help. I am, and it definitely helps too. So yeah, don't struggle with it. Try and hopefully people get something from this. And yeah, and if anybody wants to talk to me about it privately or whatever, just reach out. I'm happy to help.
All right, I reckon that should be about it for today's episode. Thanks very much for spilling the beans and putting it all out there for us. It's
My pleasure.
It's interesting, and like I said, I got no idea how that mindset works, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I think people will understand better when someone is having a hard time. They might be able to recognise it, hopefully, and reach out and help each other.
The thing is, I guess for me, the main thing, and I think the sign that you guys recognise is when I go quiet, because I'm normally loud and a bit out there and
No.
cracking jokes. No, but yeah, look, and I guess because yeah, your brain goes into another compartment basically. But the thing I admire about you when you race is you can be that guy, as in mucking around and talking under the pits, and we're like, okay, we're going to staging, and seriously, it's like you flick a switch, and then you become serious. You don't talk much, and then you race, boom, come across the finish line, and the switch goes back off again, shaking hands and joking again, and it's. I've noticed it for a long time, and it's just amazing, and you can actually see it happen. Flick, oh yeah, he's in race mode. Whoops, look out. He's not going to be funny at all. But no, and it's just.
I'm not funny when I'm out of race mode.
True that, but it's interesting that you can do that, and it's something you're either, I think, maybe you're born with, or subconsciously you've trained yourself. But it's a great thing to see, and it's to be admired, and I'm not jealous of it. Well, maybe just a little bit, but I have to learn my own coping mechanisms and to find out what I can do to make myself relax. And I think everybody out there just maybe try and find something that, and that's why I guess the old, the cool down, go for a ride in the car park and just cool down and just clear your head out. That's another good thing to do. Even if you're not even racing and you're starting to sit there and getting a bit jittery, and just put the tall post in and go for a ride. Just, flush it out a bit. Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope I made some sense and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good subject, and I guess with our mucking around, Shaun and Shane shooting the shit, we will try and hit some serious topics sometime. I think if people, that's what people want, I guess.
I can't think of anything else serious at the moment, but I'm sure something will pop up over time.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, guys. Thank you very much.
Catch you next time.
Peace out. Cool. Now I need a cuddle.